Okay, maybe we'll get going here. Maybe I'll check the count just before we start going here. Uh, yeah, we'll see there. We got 10 people, so we've got a few more there. Okay, we'll get going. Our main topic today is Save and Spend Online Safely by myself, Tom Kreuzer. The agenda will cover some club status and some quick information, and then we'll get to our main topic. Future meetings, there is a max SIG for May 24th, Friday, May 24th. Oh, somebody's got their mic on. If you could please mute it until the Q&A at the end there, that'd be great. Okay, we also have coming up, we do a monthly question and answer online. That's the next one is June 4th, and you're welcome to join that. If we run out of questions, we'll talk about current topics or whatever anyone wants to talk about there. Our next, excuse me, I better make sure I've got a cough drop here. I'm getting a little tickle in my throat. Where am I here? Just a second here. Make sure I got a cough drop on hand. Okay. Yeah, our next general meeting is going to be June 19th, Wednesday, June 19th, and it will be on Facebook, the social network, and why do 3 billion people use it? So we'll talk about what it's good for, and especially how you can control what you share in your privacy, because you don't want to leave things open to everything. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about a lot of the terms and identify some of the terminology within Facebook and how to post things and things like that, and also some tips there. This is coming up. I know we haven't officially gotten into summer, but this is our annual PC Club dinner summer celebration. We're already planning the end of the year celebration. That will be July 17th. So put it on your calendar. And if you attended last year, I think we had about 36 people last year. It'll be roughly the same as last year there. We're still working out some of the details in that, but this is the date. So if you want to save the date, that would be good. These are the officers of the club. Jim is our president. Linda is our vice president. Paul is our membership secretary. Paula is our treasurer. Chuck is our recording secretary. Mike leads the MaxSig. Andrew is our communication coordinator. My name is Tom Kreuzer. I'm a director at large, and we usually can't do all this without some volunteers there too. This is a picture from our picnic. I think we'll have to make sure and get a picture from the Green Mill this year, and we'll update that a little bit. Just an FYI, our current membership is about 98 people, which is one of the biggest at 3M there. We'd always like to have more people, but 98 is certainly better than a limited number of people, so that's good. Members old and new, I mentioned Paul is our membership secretary. When your dues come due, and everybody has a different month when they join, so Paul will send out a notice and you renew that way. Also a reminder, if you are changing your email, whether some of the people went to Solventum, and if you retire, or if you're changing internet providers where you had an old email, make sure and notify us, because that's the way we keep in touch with people. If you do have suggestions for topics, you can email your ideas or talk to any of the board members. We're always looking for people to volunteer to present on hardware, software that you use at work or at home. If you don't want to present, we do have a monthly eBytes newsletter. You can write a long or a short article. And on our website, we try and record all the meetings, so they're out there, the video of the screen and the audio. We also usually have the handouts there. We also have a deals section. We have an eBytes newsletter, monthly newsletter with items in, and the link is shown here, but it's sent in all the emails that we send out also. Okay, let's get to our main topic today, which is save and spend online safely. And we'll be covering all these different areas. Peer-to-peer payments, called P2P, mobile point of sale, mobile wallets, internet payments, payment links, and mobile banking. So we'll try and cover all of it there. Many people are concerned that it's risky to bank online, so they miss out on all the benefits of using these marvelous tools and features that you can take advantage of. With the right apps, the right sites, and tips, you can safely make your life much easier. One of the reasons for me that I got a smartphone years ago was so that I could use an app, a smartphone with an app there, and the camera on the phone to deposit a check without having to take it into an ATM, mailing it in, or going to the bank. So that was one of the really nice features that I liked there. I also use it to transfer money between my bank, brokerage, financial, and CDs, and I instantly have access to this stuff, and it's so easy to do. And we'll talk about all these things in detail. It can save you trips to the bank, going to the ATMs. No stamps. Stamps are currently going up. They're getting to almost be $1 stamp there. So you have that. The other thing you have with a lot of these is you can set notifications for when your credit cards are used or checks are deposited or money comes in and goes out. You can set up all these notifications. And if you don't like the notifications, you don't have to have notifications, but as we've talked before, it's nice to keep track of credit cards and banks and not just rely on a monthly statement to find a possible error or something going wrong with your account there. It gives you instant access anytime from anywhere. You can use your smartphone, you can use a tablet, you can use a computer, and it'll save you time. And it'll be even more secure than using the manual methods that many people use today. So people will be mailing checks to a company. Well, there's a chance that people will steal your mail, that it gets intercepted there. Checks have your account numbers on there. Physical credit cards, if you're using those, there's lots of vulnerabilities of your card numbers being stolen and things like that. And we'll talk about all those things. Nowadays, you do have encryption as being used on all the banking apps, no matter what kind of Wi-Fi you use or what kind of cell phone connection you use. So there's no need to worry about somebody stealing your account number because you're on a public Wi-Fi or you're doing it on your phone. And I've heard people say, well, I'm only going to do it on my computer at home. I'm not going to use my cell phone. And I try and tell them that I wouldn't say it's impossible, but it's nearly impossible for any of that information to be intercepted and hacked or used against you there. This is another thing. Fact is, it's easier for scammers and hackers to take over the accounts of people who have not set up online access than people who are online and have set up their accounts. And I stress that to people because over the years I've had people tell me, I'm afraid of online banking because if I set it up, somebody a hacker may hack into it and steal stuff. And I say, well, if you don't set up your account from the bank or the credit card or the financial institution, if a hacker has access to your numbers, your account numbers and things like that, it's relatively easy to set up a new account using your account information. So you're actually better protected when you set up the account, put strong passwords on it, two-factor authentication, and things like that, than if you don't use any online banking at all. So it really is important for everybody to set up online access, no matter how much you, no matter how little you may use it or that. Okay, first let's talk about banking, credit cards, and websites. Most routine tasks that you do at a bank branch can be accomplished quickly and easily on your phone, your tablet, or your computer. You can deposit a check at any time, middle of the night, when the banks are closed, anywhere there. And the reason that you can do that is your cell phone has a camera on there and you take a photo of the check. And so it makes it real easy there. Other features that you can do is check the balances. You can get the notifications of payments or activities. You can pay bills and you can transfer funds. So most of the things that you might have to go into a bank for, you don't have to anymore. And so in reality, that phone and that app or the website and that is giving you access to your bank 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Online bill paying can be a time saver. If you don't have to, no opening paper bills, no writing checks, no buying stamps. You can set up your account to automatically pay bills each month, such as your rent, mortgage, and utility bills. And if you already authorize certain vendors, like your cable provider, to pull money from your bank account electronically, this is known as push payments that you authorize through your bank to give you more control over your funds. So chances are, and if we were in person, I'd ask the question, how many people use a push or a pull there? Most people are familiar with the pull, where Excel Energy will ask you to enter in your checking account number, and Excel Energy each month will use that information to pull money out of your bank. The other way that can be set up is what's called a push. And a push is you set up with your bank or your credit card information once a month, once a quarter, whatever the frequency is, to send out a certain amount, a check or that, to a particular company or person. So you can use the push or the pull. And there's advantages to each. We don't have time to go into everything there, but use one or the other there, and it's going to save you a lot of grief there. Some of the examples is virtually every bank, credit card, and that has it. So U.S. Bank, Wells Fargo, Fidelity, and thousands of other financial companies, including credit unions and stuff like that. Everybody's got either apps, websites, things like that out there. The cost. Well, there usually is no cost beyond the standard of maintaining your bank account. So they don't charge you extra to use the app or to deposit online and things like that. In fact, some banks are starting to charge for in-person deposits of checks and withdrawals and things like that. So you can actually save money by doing this stuff electronically here. Risks. And so there are risks. The biggest risk is that your device is lost or stolen and somebody uses it to access your money. Well, what can you do to protect yourself? These are the precautions. Protect your devices using the security settings. We've talked about this before and how to protect yourself from scams and if you lose your phone and things like that. Make sure the device is set up to automatically lock. So you should have a password on there. You should have a timeout on there after no more than a few minutes of inactivity. It can then be unlocked with your face, fingerprint, or passcode to get in. Also, know how to remotely disable or wipe your device clean if it is stolen or you accidentally leave it somewhere. So you do want to know what to do if there's a problem. And we've talked about this before too. It's very easy to do, and you just want to be prepared for things. Almost all the banking apps and websites now enable two-factor authentication, 2FA, and many are starting to use passkeys or also use passkeys. This allows you to have extra security of your online access and that. So those are good things to do there. You also want to set up notifications for withdrawals from your account. So whenever my credit card is used, I get a text message telling me the amount and where it was used, and my bank the same way. And it just is handy. Again, you're not waiting till the end of the month to spot a problem or something that isn't authorized. Finally, always use unique and complex passwords and a password manager. I've talked about Bitwarden before. These are some examples of screens. These are not my accounts. These are not my screens. These are gotten off of Google there, but they're good examples. Here's US Bank. This first one is the phone. And if you haven't seen it before, if you have multiple accounts with US Bank, a checking, a savings, CDs, a credit card, you'll see all that information right immediately. So that's very easy to do. You have options to pay bills here, to see past transactions, to send money, to do a variety of features. One of them is to deposit a check. So this is an example of depositing a check where you use your camera to take a picture of the front of the check and the back of the check, put in the amount, deposit, and instantly it's there. You don't have to put anything in the mail. You don't have to do anything. Real easy to do. This is an example of Fidelity here. So if you do have stocks or an IRA or things like that, it's always nice to be able to bring it up and see how it's doing. And again, look at your transactions. And if you're buying and selling stocks, it's much easier to do there. So lots of options that you have there. Okay, the next type of software or apps that we'll talk about is what's called P2P, and that stands for peer-to-peer payments. There's lots of peer-to-peer apps that help you pay for things without using physical cash or cards with many merchants, friends of yours, and family. Once you start transferring money to your friends, family, and others, it's hard to believe that you ever got along without it. There's no need to go to the ATM to get cash or not having money to pay a bill. So they can make your life, again, a lot easier there. P2P apps usually are used to transfer between people that you know, but most small businesses now accept P2P payments, and some informal ones, like farmers markets, insist on them. They don't take cash or checks or anything like that. The PC Club I mentioned here, we use it for our dues. So when we talk about Venmo and Zelle and PayPal and all these different options, you can use that to pay your PC Club dues instead of having to write a check and send it in or take cash to a meeting or that. So there's multiple ways. I also do a garage sale once a year, and in the garage sale, I accept electronic payments at my garage sale, which is very nice and very convenient for people because they no longer have to go to an ATM to get cash out or write me a check, and then I'm not sure if the check will bounce or if it's a good check or anything like that. This way, I can do an instant payment there. Also, I use it to split checks. So when I go out to eat, yesterday I was out to eat with 3 other friends, and when the bill came at the end, we split the bill, and most of us paid each other. The 3 of us paid the other ones using one of these payment apps. So it's very handy. You don't have to exchange cash or, gee, I don't have change, or I'll owe you this, or things like that. No, you can do everything all at once. Some of the examples of some of these apps and that is if you have an iPhone or an iPad, you have Apple Wallet. That's built into the operating system. You may also have heard of Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, Zelle, Square, and there are lots of other ones also. What's the cost? Well, nothing to put the app on, but there are a few important exceptions to be aware of. If you're paying with a credit card, you may be charged a 3% fee for funding these outgoing transactions that use your credit card rather than going through your bank. So if you go through link it to your checking account or that, there's usually no charge at all. Also, some of the P2P apps may charge 0.5% to 1.75% if you want the money to be instantly transferred into your bank account. And by that I mean normally these apps will wait 1 to 3 business days before it officially shows up in your bank account if you transfer it to your bank account. And that doesn't cost anything, but if you want it that day, you may have to pay an extra fee there. I mentioned here, Zelle is the exception to both cases. It doesn't allow credit card transactions, so there's never a 3% fee or 2% fee, and you have instant access to the funds as standard there. Okay, what are some of the risks? Well, if you type in the wrong recipient address and you send money to the wrong person. So typically you're either typing in a telephone number or an email address or a name. If you type that in wrong, it's possible that you'd be sending it to the wrong person. In such cases, the app generally won't reimburse the user. Nor will they help you if you're tricked into sending monies to scammers. So you have to be aware of some of these things. Many of the legal rights that you have with a credit card or with a check don't exist with peer-to-peer payments. Funds left in your peer-to-peer account may not be insured by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation as they would be in a bank account. Some of the precautions: before sending money, confirm the recipient's identity with a telephone number, an email address, or a QR code, or if it's between friends and family, if you've got them set up in your contacts on your phone or that's going to have the correct information there, and you're not going to accidentally send it to the wrong person. If it's the first time that you're sending money to somebody, consider sending a $1 test payment. And if they're sitting right next to you, confirm that they received it before sending a large amount if you're going to send them things like rent or thousands of dollars there. Move money from your P2P account into your FDIC insured bank account as soon as possible. So if somebody does transfer you thousands of dollars into your Square account, you don't have to keep it in the Square account. You can move it into your regular bank account where it is insured. Turn on all identity verification options in the app just to make sure again. Don't broadcast to the world everyone that you send money to. Some of these P2P apps have settings within there where your friends and family can actually see what other money you're sending and who you're sending it to, and you can turn all that off. So, and we'll talk a little bit more about that and how to protect your privacy a little bit later. Here's some examples here. This is Venmo, but they all work the same way. You'll have balances, and you can have multiple accounts. In this case, you can even buy cryptocurrency and that. And then you can set up groups of people. So you may have a group of people here in this second example. Maybe you're going on a vacation with several families. Well, one's going to be buying tickets or doing this or doing that. And so to move money back and forth easily between all the families and the people, you can set up groups and keep track of things and keep track of it in separate accounts also. So very nice setup there. And you can look at the detail. So in this case, clicking on the Tahoe shows the detail of who's transferred money in and who's transferred money out. So you can keep track of things. It'll also do some budgeting and some things like that for you too. And we'll be talking about budgeting a little bit later. Okay, next we'll talk about digital wallets, but we're all familiar with the physical wallet, and whether it's a wallet or a purse, you start sticking all this stuff in there and they start getting fat. And one of the things that I liked was in Seinfeld, Jerry's neurotic friend, George Costanza, has too much stuff jam-packed in his wallet that he's ridiculed for it numerous times in the series as his filing cabinet. In this short little video, he's walking down the street and he tries to pack one more thing into his big fat wallet here. So let's see if we can pull this up.
Guitar, first lesson free.
Oh. There he is packing it into his wallet. Will it shut? No, it explodes! So that can happen to you. Everybody probably packs too much junk into their wallet or purse. We'll get both male and female here. But now we have digital wallets. And digital wallets, your physical wallet or purse can be leaner to crooks and meaner by using a digital wallet. So if you want to protect yourself, the way to protect yourself is to move away from physical wallets and move to digital wallets. A digital wallet can hold your credit cards, your debit cards, health insurance cards, medical cards, gift cards, loyalty reward cards, coupons. In some states, driver's license. Unfortunately, Minnesota, you can put your license in there. You just have to physically carry your driver's license in Minnesota. But a number of states now allow you to pull up your digital driver's license and if you were stopped, let's say, for a speeding violation. You can also put digital event tickets. You can put airline boarding passes. You can put hotel keys. And even a number of the new cars, you can put the car keys in your wallet. So lots of things can be put in your wallet there. For most people, a digital wallet also serves double duty as their peer-to-peer payment app. So we just got done talking about peer-to-peer. And if you're going to transfer money, well, the digital wallets usually have that built into them also. You can pay at stores by waving your device at the credit card reader. So I shop at Lund's grocery store. They ring up my total, and instead of me taking out a credit card out of my wallet and scanning it or tapping it on the credit card reader there, I just open up my phone with my fingerprint. So one touch with my fingerprint, and within under a second, I hear a ding. That signifies that it's connected to the payment, and I didn't have to take out a card, didn't have to have a card with me. Very nice. I will mention, though, that some cheap Android phones do not support NFC, which stands for Near Field Communication, that's required for contactless payments. So if you have a cheap phone, usually under $200, some of those phones do not have NFC capability. If you do want to use the contactless payment, the passing of your phone for the payment there, when you upgrade your phone, look for a phone that supports NFC. And you can get them starting at about $150 or so. But you may have to look around for Android. All the iOS phones have NFC built in. Unlike a physical credit card, your phone and your account data are protected by passwords, biometric authentication, and encryption if they fall into the wrong hands. So unlike a physical wallet where somebody steals it out of your purse or takes your wallet in a holdup or something like that, you don't have to worry about any of that. The store doesn't even have your information because when I wand my phone over the device there, it's sending a one-time use card number to Lunds. And that credit card number, even if Lunds was hacked that very instant and hackers got access to that credit card transaction, that number that was used cannot be used again for any other charge, so it's worthless to hackers and that. So it's a much more secure environment for credit cards or debit cards or anything there. Examples of this, Apple Wallet. So if you have an iPhone, you'll have that. Google Pay and Samsung Pay. Those are the three main big ones there. Cost, generally nothing, but if you're going to use the peer-to-peer part of it, fees may apply if you're using it. Some of the risks, similar to what we talked about, is somebody steals or unlocks your phone. That's why it's important to have your phone locked and to protect your phone. Another risk is if your phone dies, you don't have any plastic cards with you, and you're in a store. Well, that can be a problem. Your phone doesn't have to have a connection to a cell tower, and it doesn't have to have Wi-Fi connection. So if you're in a deserted island somewhere, you can still use this to pay, but your phone does have to be operating. The other thing is some stores have not upgraded to contactless payments. So there are stores around that don't let you tap your credit card or pass your phone over there. Precautions, make sure your security settings are on and that you can remotely disable or erase your phone. Keep a separate list of your cards in your digital wallet so that you can cancel them at any time. So my information for my credit cards, I use my password manager, Bitwarden, and I store the information for the customer service telephone and the account numbers in there. So if there ever is a problem, I can get access to that anywhere at any time. Here's some examples here. So this is Apple Wallet. You can have multiple cards in there, debit, credit, all kinds of cards, loyalty cards. Here's some examples of some airline tickets in here. If you click on the Fidelity credit card here, it'll show you the last transactions and things like that. If you're at the airport and you're going on a trip, this is where you bring up your airline ticket and scan that to get in. If you're going to a Twins game or a Vikings game, you do the same thing. So you're going to need a wallet, a digital wallet, to put these new tickets in. Okay, next category, let's talk about budgeting apps. These help you track your expenses, your income, and your spending. The best budgeting apps also provide snapshots of your financial history, helping you make savings projections and assist with goals such as paying off a debt. What works for one person may not work best for you, so try them yourself. Most of them have a free period or are free to use. You just have to find the right one for you. Some examples are Empower, Every Dollar, Good Budget, Monarch, NerdWallet, Pocket Card, Rocket Money, YNAB, which stands for You Need a Budget, Quick and Simplify. And most banks now and credit card companies also have an app or a site for tracking your spending categories. So lots of options. They help you to build and manage a budget by making it easy to track, visualize, and analyze your spending by category and to set savings and debt reduction goals. Cost? Well, a few cost nothing, but many offer a free entry-level version. Then if you want the more advanced, it may cost you between $8 and $18 a month for a more robust features. Many offer the free trial periods. And also, like I mentioned, most banks now and credit cards usually have a free budget feature in there. Risks, if your phone is lost or stolen, your financial information, same as what we've talked about before. Precautions, same precautions. Use complex passwords, biometric, timeouts, things like that. Uh, Personally, when I do my budget, I've talked in the past, I don't use any of these apps. I like to have more detail, and I use a free software package called GNU Cache for my budget. You may have heard of a popular app before called Mint. Mint is no longer supported. Intuit, the company, quit supporting it, so that's why there's these other ones in that. If you do have a Fidelity account, you can go to spending by category and it'll show you a report. Or another example, if you have a US bank, go into plan and track, and then money tracker is what their feature is called. And they're examples of these. These are free services that if you have Fidelity or US bank, they're already categorizing some stuff for you. So this is an example of what it can look like, showing you where your money is going and breaking down the detail and all the different information there. Okay, next we'll talk about how to protect your privacy. Certainly when you're putting your accounts out there, and this is where you've got lots of money, hopefully lots of money in your IRA and financial and banks and that. A concern about these tools is that they might leak or sell your personal information to marketers, businesses, data brokers, and governments that could be used inappropriately. Start by limiting the information your phone shares with the apps. If you have an iPhone, you can go into the settings, scroll to the app in question, and then deny it access to any features you don't need or use, such as location tracking or files. Location tracking, well, if I don't need it to track exactly where I am, so you can turn that off when I'm using those apps. Same goes true for Android phones. It's just that the setting is in a little different place. Go to settings, then privacy, then permission manager, and then check out the permission type. Check your privacy settings within the apps as well. With Venmo, for example, the private setting will prevent all the world from knowing with whom you exchange money. So most people don't want that information being shared or put out on Facebook, your Facebook account or things like that. Some of these apps will automatically do that. So you do want to be aware of what options and what settings you have within the app there. But these controls generally do not prevent apps from sharing your information with third parties that aren't involved in the core service. Some providers let you opt out when you first set up the account, so you can read the terms and conditions carefully on exactly what they're doing with your information. Okay, that concludes the presentation. I will stop sharing and then we'll take a look at the chat, and if anyone wants to ask a question, you can unmute yourself and show your video. In fact, let me get to my, I clicked the wrong icon here. Let me get back here. Let me turn on my camera. Okay, let me look at the chat and see if there's anything in the chat here. Let's see, we'll start up Join. I have no audio. Hopefully, Linda got her audio there. Uh, and Jim posted the handout out there. Otherwise, you can go out to the website also. Let's see. Temporarily. Jim Holman, especially for large fund transfer, consider having the recipient request a payment. Yeah, that's another good suggestion or tip there. So if let's say you have a son and he's going on a European trip and you've never used it before, well, you can have your son request money from you once your account is set up. Then you're and be sitting right next to him to make sure that he's the one requesting it and not some scammer. So they can work very well there. But as I mentioned, you want to make sure that if you are typing in somebody's new address or scanning in or using QR codes or things like that. Where was I this last weekend? That's what happens when you get senior. I was at somewhere and they were talking about, or I don't know if it was a food truck or whatever, and the food truck had the QR code to you could send them the money there. And I made a joke to my brother-in-law. I said, yeah, I'm going to go home and I'm going to print out my own QR code and put that over their QR code. So all their customers are sending money to me instead of to the food truck there. So that's why you have to watch out for some scams or some things like that. Let's see. Any suggestions for sending memorial from U.S. to U.K.? That was from Bonnie there. The sending money, literally, you can send it around the world. It just depends on if you're using Cash App or if they accept Venmo or if they accept Zelle or how they do it. All of them are very good. It depends on what they take. I mentioned I take items at like my garage sale. Well, I take 4 different payment types. Some people just take one. Well, if the more payment types you have, the more chance that somebody will be using one of those systems. So you can get yourself set up, or if you're setting up a memorial, or having people like Paul Ebert, our membership secretary, he uses, I believe, we have 4 different options that you can use. So lots of things can be done there. Yeah, and then I can't see unknown user. That's a good point. Most of these services do have limits on daily transfers, and some of it depends on how much you have in your account, that kind of thing too. And if you're taking it out of a credit card, it's going to be whatever the credit card restrictions or limits are. So you do have you can run into those, and you don't want to be surprised with some of those. That's why frequently people may use 2 or 3 different payment systems, just so that if one is if you're exceeding the limit or that, you can maybe use a combination of them to do that.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. That was me, Mukund Prajapati.
Okay. And then Jim Holman mentions here, pay attention to the currency in the app. So when you're overseas, the apps handle currency conversion very differently. Some of them won't give you a very good translation. Some of them give you very good translation. So understand where the currency conversion is taking place if you are making or receiving money in foreign currencies there. You can always send money in one currency and so if I was buying something from somebody in Japan, I can make a deal on eBay and I can say, I'm going to send you in PayPal this in US dollars. So you can, in some cases, if you're buying and selling, you can negotiate that and let them worry about translations or whatever there. Okay. Yeah, somebody mentions a friend uses Swipe to sell her artwork at art fairs. There's numerous packages out there, and it's all a matter of what you and your customers or the people that you have. If you have a Wells Fargo account, Wells Fargo, what is it? Zelle. I think Wells Fargo is aligned with Zelle. So you have a Zelle account if you have a Wells Fargo account. You may not have activated it and you may not have set it up, but most people, like I say, use multiple peer-to-peer services. I use PayPal, I use Square, I use Zelle. You can use a bunch of these, and it's all a matter of who you're going to be sending money to and what's the easiest for them. Okay, John mentions we use Google Wallet, and in some cities store a transit card. Just use our phone to pay for trips on public transport. You're seeing more and more places go to the digital tickets, the digital loyalty cards. Uh, Twins, like I mentioned, Twins or Vikings or things like that. All of those are digital tickets now. The physical tickets and things like that are kind of the thing of the past there. Let's see, there's a question or a comment. For QR codes, does the vendor have to acknowledge that payment has been received to avoid scams, especially if they're at a food truck? Yeah, usually if you are using the scan there, what's going to pop up is it's going to pop up the account name of who you're sending the money to, but some people really don't look at it that close. So if I was pulling that scam at the food truck there, I would probably get 50% of the people who wouldn't be looking at who they were sending the money to. Then when they when they put the phone in the pocket or the purse, and the person in the food truck says, "We haven't received your payment," then they're going to kind of look back and they're going to say, "Oh, I didn't send it to your food truck." Well, good luck trying to get that money back from me, because unlike a credit card or that, it's pretty doggone hard to get money that you've transferred using any of these peer-to-peer systems back when you send it to the wrong person there. Now, there are scams out there, and you may have heard of them, where let's say I have a Zelle account, and I look and it says somebody sent me $1,000 to my Zelle account, and then a couple minutes later I get a message that says, "I inadvertently sent the $1,000 to you. Can you send me back the $1,000?" And being good Minnesotans or good citizens in general, people figure, well, this really isn't my money anyway. I'm going to send the $1,000 back to them. Don't do that, because what's happened is the scammer sent the $1,000 to me, and within the very short time limit canceled that transaction. And so my sending back $1,000 to this person, my account is good. I've got the money in there. That scammer now has my $1,000, and I'm gonna lose out, because what I thought was $1,000 transferred into my account was undone. It may take a day or two. That's why you have that holding period. It may take a day or two, and suddenly that money disappears from my account, and I've just lost $1,000. So if somebody sends you money, say, "Oh, well, let's wait a week, and if it's still in there, then I might send you the money back. But I'm not sending it back in a day or two or things like that. Okay, Jim says, I was just going to mention that me and family members have had no luck with pen pal getting money back on scan. I think they mean PayPal, I assume, or maybe there is a pen pal. But yeah, as I mentioned, yep, PayPal. It can be difficult to get money back. These are uh, credit cards. If you dispute a charge, they have a whole service and they have a whole process to go through to check it out and to usually get your money back and that. But when you're using peer to peer, part of the infrastructure of the peer to peer is not set up to handle disputes, to track down money, to do anything there. So that's why you want to be very careful who you send it to, and the extra tip that I forgot who gave that said have somebody send you a request. So you can request money from people in addition to sending money to people. And so if it's your son or cousin or somebody, have them request money from you, and then you can do it, and then you're sure who's going to where. And if anyone wants to unmute themselves and their video, that's fine. Otherwise, we'll continue with some of these comments in the chat. These apps and these features, this banking and stuff like that, certainly there's a lot of sensationalism around scams and things like that. But really, if you just think about things a little bit, you're not going to get scammed. Be skeptical like everything else. But the features and functions that you have in these apps, to me, it's so nice to be able to check balances, to get notifications, to be able to track things, to be able to use a budget, do different things there. So the power that you have in all of these is so very nice, and even the peer-to-peer that we're talking about with some of these problems. Well, I don't have to carry a large amount of cash around anymore because I can pay off other people, I can send it, I can do things. To me, the convenience and the features and the functions is really nice to have.
I'm going to switch back to an earlier topic. When you do deposit checks, now you've got that physical check, and you got any comments on what you do with those? If not, I do.
Yeah, I guess and I'll let you maybe pipe in there. I guess what I do is I keep it for a couple of days, and then I get rid of them. Uh, so I don't keep it forever. And that couple of days, again, I can go out to my bank. In this case, it's U.S. Bank or it's Fidelity, and I can see that it's been logged and no issue there. So you do want to keep it until they have fully approved it and logged it there. And if
And I
you've
would
got
just
more,
say,
Jim, there, go ahead.
well, and then just in kindness to the people who sent you the check, you want to destroy it like any other secured document so that it's not just out in your trash that somebody else can get at somebody's checking account information through the fact that you just were too casual about disposing of it.
Yeah, good point there. Because I guess when I keep it, I run it through a shredder. That does have their account. It does have the routing information. Now the routing information is no big deal because all
Get
U.S.
that
bank
online.
accounts have the same routing number. It's that account number that is the issue. So you don't want to just put it in the trash, and you don't want to just leave them around because again, if you always kept every old check there, potentially if somebody broke into your house, they could steal the stack of the old checks there, and they'd have a field day with account numbers of friends and family that have sent you accounts or things like that. But yeah, you never have to send the check in, and I don't recall any of the sites telling you what to do or how long you officially had to keep it. I just keep it until I see it registered, because generally my assumption there is once it is on the books in the bank that I sent it to. If there is an issue, and in all the years I've never had an issue, if there is an issue, the worst case is I'd notify the people or the company that sent me the check and have them resend me a check.
Right.
So
I think Huntington, we've got Huntington, and they say to hang on to it for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, something like that. But they don't tell you to then shred it or whatever. But I hope that's what happens to the very few checks that we write. But that's another benefit of doing this electronic funds transfer. If you write a check to somebody who's going to be casual about what they do with it when they're done depositing it online, you're eliminating that chance.
No, good tip there. Okay. Any other questions or comments there? But yeah, it's I guess since I went to electronic banking and stuff like that, I don't know how many checks I used to go through in a year. Now it's a case of I only have a handful, probably less than 10 checks a year that I write now. So it really has cut down on that. And there's no need to write a lot of checks, and uh, all the places will tell you that if you still are using checks and thinking that you're more secure than doing stuff online, you're fooling yourself, because the physical movement of the check, putting it in the mail or putting it in a mailbox, and mailboxes have been broken into, and the master keys have been stolen, and mail pickups, if you leave it at your mail slot or in your mailbox, the chance of it getting stolen is quite high there. So it's best to move away from these things where you can, and use some of these others. Now, some of the other methods, as an example, the Minnesota property tax. Well, they used they set up their paying online, but then they were charging you to pay online to make it easier for them. Uh, Nowadays, they don't charge you unless you're using a credit card, but you can pay with your bank account and put that in. And so save yourself a stamp, do it more securely, and lots of good things there. Oh, Linda's got her hand up. Did you have a question, Linda? You're muted currently, Linda. Maybe Linda's gone there.
Trying to get the mic on. Can you hear me?
Yep, now I can hear you,
Yes.
Linda. Did you have a question?
Unfortunately, I was yelling about the problem when it connected. My apologies. Hey, along the lines of recent references about all these payments, and I think this was really a very informative and insightful session, and I wish you would repeat it in about 4 months, because everything, well, I guess it just seems faster that everything keeps changing and changing. and there's all these nuances and things to catch up with. But I did run into something a bit peculiar recently with our 3M Empower 401k management system. And to my surprise, when I requested a payment of my RMD, they were going to add a $15 fee to have it be direct deposited, which I thought was ridiculous because we're supposed to be making it efficient for them. We're saving them credit card fees and all that stuff. And that's our money we're getting. So my option was, or we can receive it for free via the mail, the U.S. mail. So I'm testing this right now. But it seems rather absurd to me where this is going. I don't understand.
Well, that's a case of what you may want to do is you may want to take your 401k, or if you have an IRA or any type of account, figure out what banks offer you the best deal. So you can move it all to, let's say, like Fidelity, open a new account and not be charged.
Yeah, but the offset there is the service fees are like tenfold. 401k is like just having a little.
I pay zero. I pay zero at Fidelity, zero cost.
Oh, then let's have a little session on that because I am asking.
We won't address it now.
Can't ask my Edward Jones guy because I know he will have his own particular biases. So he left me with, yes, that's a good conversation we should have because I would. Okay. And then part of it's already at Schwab, so maybe Schwab does something like that and I could talk with him. But yes, it's a big decision thing in my life. Meanwhile, I just was surprised that there was a fee now being applied to receiving my own money, expediting it via direct deposit, which we're told is the most efficient way to do it. And yeah, I don't like snail mail.
No, and the delays, because you know, I've talked to people that get their
snail,
I talk to people that get their Social Security check and they like it getting it in the mail, and I go, well, as reliable as the mail is now, you may get it. Let's say it's supposed to be the first of the month. You may get it on the first of the month, or it may be on the 10th or the 15th of the month. Whereas a direct
deposit. It's just so sad that our postal services have come to that, and I think I'm gone.
Okay. No.
Oh, so did you hear? My screen just blacked out.
Well,
am I still connected?
I can still hear you, Linda. So that's fine. Okay. There. But
so yeah, that would be my last comment. That the postal services were such pride through the years. I remember the days when they had nothing better to do, so they'd make a second run with our mail to the house. Yeah. My mom probably gave them a cookie when it came. Who knows? Thank you anyway. This was a very lot of good information that my brain hasn't encountered before now. I'm helping friends with a garage sale this weekend, and the hubby side of that affair there is pretty adept at IT stuff. So I'm going to have my eye open to see how many different formats he offers of electronic transactions he'll be offering to his people. And I can learn something in person from helping them out over the day. But maybe they need some help now that there's fewer cash transactions and money moving around.
I've only found about 1 in 100 garage sales offer electronic payments. So
cash is still pretty good in that world.
Cash is king, and a lot of people haven't gotten into it, but I do, which means that I can sell things and people don't have to go to an ATM or things like that to get money out. So
do you provide rental space for people who can bring their stuff onto your driveway in their big U-Haul truck, and we can do that?
You couldn't afford it. I've got more than enough stuff there, but
do you really? Say,
no
speaking
problem.
Of a lot of stuff,
I'm gonna take some of these other chats here. Let's see what some of the others.
Then talking about the records on your wall sometime, and I'm running into problems trying to get a CD of a music artist I want now, and I
On
don't have
eBay, you can get
M3P.
every CD that's ever been made.
This is new, and they're really
Now,
pushing
nobody uses
vinyl.
CDs anymore, but if you sign up for Amazon Prime, you have unlimited access to millions and millions of songs and albums. But
Not
that's
on
a
this.
completely
Amazon
different.
Prime only offers an M3P player, and I've never had one of those.
If you have
Or
a
an
phone,
album.
if you have a phone, if you have a computer, if you have a tablet, you've got an MP3 player.
Okay, see now, I have to learn how to use that then. That's good to know.
Ah,
That's all. That helps me with one answer. Thank you very much.
okay,
And you
let's
have a
check.
great
We'll
rest of the
quickly
week.
check. We're over a little bit, but we'll go through some of these. I'm writing a check to the IRS. I get a cashier's check. Yeah, you can get cashier's checks, but really you don't have to anymore because the state and Fed now do have websites where you can make payments. And to make a payment, you can link it to your checking account, and there's no additional cost, no stamp that's needed. It's secure. So there are ways to make payments and things like that. Yeah, somebody mentioned you can use direct pay to the IRS and the state. If you're paying quarterly taxes, the same thing. You don't have to send in a physical check or that. I mean, you can, but why do it in today's environment there? Oh, that's good. Bonnie put a link there. So yeah, you can do that. Uh, and then order CDs through Best Buy. So yeah, there are still CDs out there that people use, and
This
that.
is a British format. So there's where it's not over here and all. This is a new artist. So it's just, I think, too early.
Okay, okay.
And
Well, I don't
that
see
would
any.
apply one of your methods of transacting between the US and the UK. So maybe it's a learning opportunity, huh, Tom?
I'll buy stuff. I buy stuff on eBay and that from all over the world. So I'm paying in pounds. I'm paying in francs. I'm paying in euros. I'm paying in you name it. You can use these different systems, and PayPal is usually the most accepted on these other systems there.
That is good to
And you
know
can buy
because I accidentally
cryptocurrency
got signed on.
on PayPal. If you want to buy cryptocurrency, you can and take the plunge.
Terrific. Thank
Okay,
you.
I don't see any other here, and we've gone over, so I think we'll end it there. And I want to thank everybody, and have a good rest of the day, and we'll see you later then. Bye.
How do I get from my black screen, Tom? I don't know how to shut off.
Okay. You may have put the cover over your camera. You haven't turned off your
No?
camera, but we'll see
Oh,
you.
maybe.
Bye.
Thank you.